ordinance, and if y'all have any questions, I may answer. Basically, all we have is one towing service as we speak, which is Eagle Wrecker versus what we used to have. We used to have at least 4 to 5 wreckers on rotation.
I want to ask you a question,
Yes, sir.
Chief. If by any chance Eagle
Yes.
is
Eagle
late
Wrecker.
and anything happens, say they're out of town or it would take long, do we have any options?
Yes, the only other wrecker service in the county would be Rick's Towing. We used him in the past. Of course, we had an incident not too long ago where an officer claims it was, he requested Eagle, and according to him, it took a little time, and of course, they requested Rick's. But that's only in the event if it's over 20 minutes, or if Eric calls us and lets us know, hey, I'm going to be out of town, or I'm not going to be available this week, we can go to that option. But as far as that's happening, it's never happened in the past that I know of, as far as I've been here. As long as I've been here, he's never called in and said, hey, you know what, I can't be here today or next week. He's always had drivers available.
I'm not against,
Mm-hmm.
Eagle Wrecker, but I believe we should have an option,
Okay.
secondary.
Secondary?
Yes, in case of an emergency or anything, you never know. I'm not against,
Mm-hmm. The option is out there, basically, according to the ordinance, all the wrecker service has to do is come to the office and apply and provide us with their insurance and updated certificate, and their driver. But, of course.
If the members of the council, Madam Mayor, and the members, if you'll look at page 3, paragraph parenthesis C, Chief's talking about the paragraph for application for placement on the towing list. And the main reason for the amendment tonight, to make it correct, is when we started this in 2010, we had 5 of the wrecker operators that came and presented a rotation amongst themselves. We're now down to 1, and there's no way to pass around the magic baton with
Right.
the cell phone. So if somebody wants to get on the application list, Mr. Ortiz, they've just simply got to apply. There's a process set out in there, and major change between the 2 ordinances is the word rotation. It's been stricken because there's no rotation between one. This is just simply an updating and an effort to make it clear that we still expect service within 20 minutes, or we'll go to default, which is Rick's.
So how does it change if you get another?
Then they'll go back, because the authority's in this ordinance for the chief to set up the rotation system again and to use the cell phone. And what they did is they used the cell phone, for example, for your week. Next week they'd use it for the next councilman and so forth. And if you couldn't make it within so many minutes by the agreement the chief has in his office, then you passed it to your colleague.
So why would you strike the verbiage of rotation out of the ordinance?
It was simply stricken because we're ready.
There's a possibility for it to revert.
He can still do that under the authority that we put in the ordinance for the chief to set up that system. But right now, we've got a standalone.
I think, Chief, did you take care of that issue that Eric was having?
Yes, I did. I discussed it with the officer.
That's the main thing why this was brought up.
Okay.
Because-
Yeah, I did talk to him, and of course, that involved, I believe it was a 3-vehicle accident there on G and J, or between J and G. And, that's what I discussed earlier. I gave an example if, that officer felt that,
But my understanding, it wasn't just that incident. It's been going on.
right.
Yeah, and I think Eric feels that,
It's brought up in the past as well. It's been discussed.
so we need to stay on top of that.
Sure will.
Chief, how often do we check to see if they have everything that you require and file current?
Yearly, they have to provide us with a copy of their insurance, liability insurance, their current license. And of course, that they have to be in compliance with the state, I believe. Is that correct? Yeah. And they automatically, their insurance company takes care of that stuff. with the state.
Everything's correct. right?
Yes, ma'am.
The towing fees, was that something that was discussed prior with all people that were all together?
Yeah, the towing fees were actually discussed when there was a rotation taking place. And that's when this whole deal started about records, you know, and then charging so much, X number of dollars too much. So what they did is they got together and came down with this fee. You know, it's feasible. I believe that, of course, there's a lot of liability insurance that they got to cover for, not only for the city, but for vehicles that they're towing, and it is expensive. So that's how they came out with this bottom dollar
These fees aren't charged to the city, they're charged to the person.
to the person that's being towed. Any other questions? Thank you.
Any questions from the audience?
Can I have a comment?
Yes, sir. Sir, could you state your name? I know
I'm
who you
Eric
are.
Malone, I'm the owner of Eagle Record. When I started the record service back in '94, there was no record service for about a couple of years. Since I started the records in '94, I've never been late to a call. The most I've taken is 20 minutes. I always have document proof when I get the call, when I dispatch, and when we get there. When we do our invoices, we put on the invoice when the officer called, when we get to the scene, and when we leave the scene. So as far as somebody saying that I'm there too late, is not the case. In 20-some years I've been doing this work for the city, I've never been late. I always have somebody on call, myself or somebody else or two people. So I've always been there for the city. Also, when you all have vehicles that need to be picked up, they're nuisance, I always volunteer to pick them up free of charge, so the city doesn't have to foot the bill. I talked to the city manager about that before, so anytime you have a city ordinance vehicle that needs to be picked up, I will pick it. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
There's no other questions, may I have a motion, please?
Mayor, I also move to approve amendment to towing ordinance number 286.
Okay, I have a motion by Councilman Nieto, may I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilman Rodriguez. Councilman Guerrero, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilman Ortiz?
Yes.
And Councilman Tejada?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries 4-0. Okay, now we're going to go on to item 2G, consideration and action to approve LED sign specs for the Laudo G. De Leon Event Center and City Hall.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Well, I want to thank the councilmen that were able to join me at the event center. They had an opportunity to speak to the sign vendor that did the actual LED portion of it. They did another demonstration. And I know it was smaller than what we anticipated for what you're looking for, but we wanted to be able to see it, you know, there in spot. So we have the bid specs there. We can send it out to see what it'll cost, to see what would come back for. Budgetary-wise, I put in somewhere around $100,000 to pay for the signs. It's a hot tax expense. I don't know what that number will actually come back for, but we need to send it out to bid. I believe we had some conversations, Councilman Tony said somewhere between 6 to 8 weeks once it actually is ordered. So we have to send out for bid, get the prices, and then once we order it, it's somewhere from 6 to 8 weeks. The bidding process takes 30 days.
Is that for their?
That's for two signs. One sign for the event center. Would you say the name for the councilman? The Laro, the event center?
Laudo de Leon.
Yes, event center and here at City Hall. So there's two signs. We don't know what the price will be, but in your budget is proposed $100,000.
But the one in the event center is going to be bigger.
Yes, the one in the event center will probably be somewhere between 20, I love my color.
This is 10 by 20.
I think you said 10 by 20
10
or
by
20 by
20.
20.
Yeah,
Yes.
10 by 20 is it.
And I'm going to actually do it 2 pixels or equal to, because we want to get as much resolution as we can.
He said something, he would recommend 16 millimeters, whatever that.
Yes, he said 16 by 16. He's going to send me that exactly email, so help me, Lou, if there's any fine-tuned changes after our meeting today, that we can pass the specifications with slight amendments.
Equal to or better.
equal to or better, because we want to be able to get
16?
Equal to or better?
equal to, yes, to the 16, yes.
And you want two different sizes on your spec?
The two different sizes on the specs, that's already in there, sign 1 and sign 2. So we can go out to bid and see what this really will cost us, but it is budgeted for $100,000.
And then you're free to accept or reject your bids depending on what they come in at.
Yes, and then you can actually see some artist renderings when we go out to bid. We can have them to require some artist renderings, so you can see how how the text is gonna look, if you want fancy text or how much and those kind of things. But we want to have a demonstration, but that's the only size he can fit in his little truck. So I tried to mimic it the best way we can. But he said the resolution would be better than the sign, the one we have up there on 181. Pruski's, he got a commercial. But Pruski's, he did that sign. It's a billboard sign, but ours will be a little bit smaller at the event center, but the resolution will be better.
And are we gonna have extra bids for the facades on the LED signs?
Yes, because each one will come up with a design of what they want to do to design. So you have like the framework itself, and then the actual, like the TV that you put in, the LED that you put in the middle. Yes, so that representative was one from LED.
Like the face of the city hall and then the face of the...
Yes, you can have it to match the facade. And in the specification, it says it needs to match existing, and it gives a site and a map. Because we want it to fit in, and we don't want it to look like it doesn't belong. And we also discussed the height. The height's going to be about 20 feet. The electrical wires overhead are 35. We don't have to have textile approval. I think that was one of the mayor's questions because of the city sign. So we're not selling advertisement, but we talked about community service things we can have, like texting and seatbelts. Even emergency things, to say if City Park is flooded, it's closed or whatever, we can put those in there as well.
You mean no advertising at the event center?
Well, technically, it is a city sign. You can't sell advertisements. However, we're going to advertise our hotels because that's how the hotel motel tax is being used. We're going to advertise our events that's happening there, but you couldn't sell a commercial for HEB up there on that side. But if HEB is sponsoring, one of our sponsors, then we can, of course, put their logo there. See? Because we're using hotel motel tax to pay for it. So if one of our sponsors for our wonderful events is HEB, then we want to put that HEB is a sponsor of our city event, whatever that is.
Budweiser's got to sponsor the event at the convention center, and then they can advertise.
But that's going to really be something when we go out to shop vendors and to court them. We can say, we have a sign on 97, and when we sat there, that traffic going back, and it's a Tuesday sign the traffic count was really, really high. So much so that TxDOT is expanding that road right now as we speak. And so that's one of the things that we can say, when you sponsor us, you don't just get advertising for that day inside the event center. You're going to have it out there on 97, so many hours. We're going to put you up there. The bigger the sponsor, the bigger the advertiser. We're going to thank them for being a sponsorship. So that's definitely a selling point.
Lou, whenever there's a chance, once we buy it, I like to see that we use that sign with some sort of revenue opportunities, whether it be a sponsor, whether it be whatever. Congratulatory remarks from somebody, a happy birthday, whatever, some type of revenue source for that sign that can pay for itself.
It's somehow got to tie to the events at the center or the hot text function. That's the only condition. And I guess happy birthday to the mayor would be okay.
Celebrate birthday.
Just put the number up there.
Double
We need a
digits.
bigger sign.
Lou,
Sir,
can we use hotel motel funds to remove that Floresville Community Center sign, letters, or whatever it is up there?
Yes.
Or we have to use?
You can use hotel motel tax because you're doing it on the event center, and the answer is yes.
Do we have to come back again and vote on it, or you just go over there and not go?
Well, let's get the big sign up there, and then we'll make those letters change. Because what we can do, Councilman, is as we're looking at doing, if you can imagine the box or the header for the sign will feature the name of the event center. And so that type of text and whatever kind of do it in, we can put it on that building. We can add that to the building and remove what it says right now. Just-
I don't know who put those letters up there, that the community center,
It says community center.
to remove it. It's not the, yeah.
It says,
It's
it
not
says
the
community
community
center
center.
right now on the actual facade of the building.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
But we can put on there, Lou, let's say that, for example, the extravaganza, and they have a major sponsor that pays to sponsor that event, then their name can go on there.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
If they're involved in an event that's going on at the center that relates to the hot tax.
Same thing with the chamber events, and hopefully they'll be getting the hot tax money.
Right.
You can do community events, you can do public service announcements, those kind of things you can put on the site. Selling advertisements can be a little tricky, but you can sell the sponsorships. If they sponsor my event, they can go on my site.
Seriously, we need to look at that, because if we're only having a few events per year, how often is that sign going to be used?
Oh, no, that's not my goal. You need to look at your budget when you get there. We're planning on a lot more than just a few events and advertising, all the entertainment. So no, sir, that's going to be used a lot.
Well, we better cancel a lot of weddings, a lot of quinceañeras, then.
Okay? And that's it.
Okay, for example, if somebody's getting married out there, and they want to pay X amount of dollars to have congratulations, can they do that?
Yeah, he's saying yes, because it's
Yes,
happening.
okay, that's what I'm talking about.
Yes, because it's
So
happening.
that would be a revenue source, we add that to the package.
Yes, if you want to say congratulations at the hot, anniversary.
I don't plan to get married again.
If you're having that, they can put it there. It relates to the event center, it's all good to go up there. You can charge people for that.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yes, sir.
It's not using the hot tax, but it's related to your use of it.
I thought you said that the weddings and quinceañeras there's no way to determine whether they're,
Bringing in out-of-town people. But
Yes.
there is, if you use your questionnaires, if you use your hotels to find out if they're in your hotels. You know, because it's just like the quinceanera I went to in Laredo, we were all out of town.
So what action do we need to take tonight?
To approve the,
What are the specs of?
you have the specs in your packet. You put the specs in the packet?
yes, they're in there.
Put the specs in the packet, and then we just need to add with your emotion you give.
They're listed in the way that it's gonna show up on the advertisement.
Yes, I need to get it so I can have a contractor to come back.
You said everything was correct.
Page 8 and 9. Legal.
And so how they're gonna go for an emotion?
I'd like to see the specs first.
Under section G, April, what put it on?
And you're okay with the specs, correct?
Yes, I am. He's going to, after we had our conversation tonight, the gentleman's going to send me just some additional language. I'll tweak it a little bit, but generally, this is what it's going to be.
I think the motion should be to approve the specifications substantially in the form set forth in your agenda and supporting documentation with authority for the manager to alter them in any minor way necessary to make them competitive.
Okay, I do see 10 by 20 or 16 by 16.
Thank you.
I so move.
So you're making the motion, right?
Yes.
Okay, I have a motion by Councilman Tejada, may I have a second?
Second?
Second by Councilman Ortiz. Councilman Nieto, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilman Guerrero?
Yes.
Councilman Rodriguez?
See.
Okay, motion carries 5-0.